Oh my glob. Obsidian! Wow! The new Adventure Time special blew me out of the water. Anything an Adventure Time fan could have wanted was in this special. Cool action sequences, great humor, incredible music, Michaela Dietz! Barring that last one, all of these are things that Adventure Time fans have always wanted to see more of, myself included. I mean, come on! We got to see how and why Princess Bubblegum and Marceline split up. Obsidian went above and beyond my expectations and turned into more than I could have ever hoped for. So let's talk about it. I'm Crit Nick with Cartoon Universe, and today we're talking all things Obsidian. If you haven't seen the episode yet, you probably should click off and do so, then come back. Okay, you watched it? Cool. Let's get started then. Oh, real quick, shout out to our patrons. You guys make these videos possible. That rules. If you like our videos and want to see more, please consider becoming a patron. Now, on with the show! The special opens on a quick shot of the wasteland with Marcy and her mom, Elise, walking by the place that would eventually become the Glass Kingdom. The writers waste no time acquainting us with this brand new setting and interesting group of people. We catch them in the middle of their most sacred ritual, the retelling, where See-Through Princess, the ruler of the Glass Kingdom, recounts the tale of Saint Marceline and her glorious victory over the belligerent Molto Larvo, a dragon dead set on destroying the Glass Kingdom. Through her tale, she recounts how the Glass Kingdom was formed, which she states was from a magic bolt of lightning striking the wasteland. I don't really have a rebuttal for this right now, and there's no evidence to suggest it was anything else, so magic lightning bolt it is! After the tale ends, with the dragon cast back into the ancient furnace, Glass Boy, a societal outcast and friend to See-Through Princess, brings up the idea that maybe Larva was slain all that time ago. Glass Boy has a wicked crack on his face and has been bullied for it for years. He wants to enter the ancient furnace, which has been said to heal cracks. He's laughed off as a total joke, and let's face it, his plan is unsafe and pretty selfish. But, you know, if someone burned me this hard...
Yeah, you have a great personality.
I think I'd jeopardize mine and my kingdom's lives to fix my cracked face too. And that's just what he does. He enters the ancient place untouched for centuries, and finds a rig that lowers him close to the magma, proving that the info he gathered was true. This was indeed a place to heal cracks. But his assumption about Larva was wrong. That man's is all fine and good, and much bigger than the last time the Glass people faced him. Glass Boy barely escapes with his life, with the lava dragon reawoken and trying to bust out of the metal doors. Glass Boy is locked up for almost releasing Larvo, but See-Through Princess frees him, and he sets out through the treacherous wasteland to search for Marceline to save them once again. Meanwhile, we get to catch up with Marceline. Seeing her and Princess Bubblegum living together is so dang sweet. It seems like PB has moved in with Marcy, something that I didn't quite expect. I always thought it would be the other way around, but it's still so sweet to see. It makes me wonder and worry about the future of the Candy Kingdom, especially seeing that PB hasn't rebuilt the Gumball Guardians yet. But I'm sure everything will be fine. Right? Anyways, PB and Marcy are living their best gay lives together, building IKEA furniture, baking apple pie, and just generally hanging out and being sweet to each other. These scenes are straight up good for the soul. Mwah. I could have watched 44 minutes of PB and Marcy living in domestic bliss, and I would have been completely satisfied. I was always bummed we never got this in the original show, so I'm really happy Distant Lands was able to deliver. Moving on, we get to see Choose Goose for the first time since Elements, a welcome return of a fan favorite. And this might just be his best performance yet.
The boy is none the wiser of my cart of illegal moisturizer.
Glass Boy arrives at the Candy Kingdom to find an open mic going on at Dirt Beer Guy's Tavern. We've actually seen this tavern host an open mic before, and the banner used is the exact same one, just with some stitching in places, showing that some time has passed since Come Along With Me. This subtle background detail is actually the first hint that it may have been longer than a year or two since the Gum War and Golb's arrival on Ooh, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Simon is singing Remember You with the same omnichord he used in that episode, suggesting that he may have more memories of being the Ice King than we originally thought. He might just remember everything. Who knows? Glass Boy interrupts the show by throwing a doll at Simon, then is approached by him after he's kicked out of the tavern. And I have to mention, Simon still looks pretty young in this episode. A certain someone has aged physically quite a bit since the last time we saw him, so I figured Simon's face would at least show some wrinkles or something, but he pretty much looks the same as he did at the end of Come Along With Me. It makes me wonder if the crown's immortality factor may have rubbed off on Simon, or if it slowed his aging process maybe? Or maybe he just has amazing skin! Drop that skincare routine, Simon. We have to know what you're using. Simon brings Glassboy to Marceline's house, where he geeks out hard over her. He quickly explains his predicament and how Marceline is the only one who can save the Glass Kingdom again. This part hits a huge nerve for PB, setting her plot in motion for this episode. Marceline and Bubblegum agree to go on this mission off-screen, leading to a tragically hilarious scene.
What? This is how I cope!
These goop monsters are really strange and don't make a lot of sense to me, and I'm not even sure what to call them. So let's call them... Oh my. The wiki has them listed as Glass-sassins. That works? The Glass-sassins, unleashed by Larvo, are on the hunt for Marceline. Marcy, PB, and Glassboy ride off towards the Glass Kingdom, which initiates the first flashback. Originally, I didn't realize that it was Marcy and her mom walking through the wasteland in the opening shot, so to see her in this next scene caught me completely by surprise. By the way, Marcy's mom's name is Elise. She finally got named in the end credits. And also, no, Rebecca Sugar doesn't play her this time. That was a little weird for me at first, but Erica Luttrell does a fantastic job with her voice. We finally get a look at the outside of the RV that Marcy grew up in. It's unclear whether the world was totally wrecked when we first saw the inside, but Elise didn't seem sick and everything stays, so I'm gonna guess that was right before the bombs detonated. The episode wastes no time showing that Elise is sick. She's wrapped in a blanket and has dark eye bags, signaling that she either stayed up late binging cartoons or that she's ill. I'm gonna go with the latter, but I can't deny that I've been the former. Often. Every night. I presume Elise knows that her time is short at this point, as she's playfully trying to get Marceline acquainted with the surrounding area. She has her draw a map, although to Marcy this is a fun request made by her mother. I didn't realize it was a map at first, I just thought her mom really wanted her to draw a panda. I'm dense sometimes, okay? After a light chat about the surroundings, Marceline notes that she used to live around here. She shuts down pretty quick, leading PB to state,
"This is all gonna go great."
The Morrow trails behind them, unbeknownst to Marceline. This is the first sign that PB has another plan for stopping Larvo. PB's plot in this episode is simply to be remembered. None of the Glass people remember her and her efforts to save them, which makes her jealous of Marceline. They arrive in the Glass Kingdom and Marceline immediately tries to barrel in and do her thing, get in and get out. But once she defeats the Glass-sassins with her base, the people remember her as Saint Marceline. She gets back into her old character pretty quickly, all the praise transforming her into the showboating, overconfident vampire queen we knew in the early seasons.
By the way, I consider Cave Hag a compliment.
We then get to hear the original song that Marceline sang to defeat Larvo. I gotta say, I love the version the Glass people have come up with over the years. Here's a comparison of the lyrics side by side. If you sing the Coconut version's lyrics to the tune of Woke Up, you can actually kind of see where the song got lost in translation. Anyways, thanks to Jagum for this awesome Twitter thread. It was really helpful in making this video. And sorry if that's not how to pronounce your tag. My bad. After asking PB's permission, Marcy sings the song that originally drove back Larvo. Woke Up, a song that doubled as PB and Marcy's breakup song. The decision to flash back here was brilliant, showing the original defeat of Larvo in all its edgy glory.
I'm so glad that I woke up.
The sentiment is not real this time though, and it proves to be ineffective against the lava dragon. PB then summons the Morrow, who promptly drops new force field machines in front of the furnace entrance. Marceline is rightfully upset by this. To her, PB didn't have faith in her to be able to save the day again. In turn, Marceline goes off to the place where she was hurt the most, leaving PB to deal with Larvo all by herself. As Marcy speeds off on her motorcycle, we flash way back to Marcy and Elise traversing the wasteland. Marcy's drawing from the last flashback is being used as a map to guide the two through the destroyed landscape. At this point, it becomes clear that Elise didn't want Marcy to know how bad things were. She tried turning everything into a game for Marcy to protect her from the terrible tragedy all around her. The two are eventually confronted by a mutant wolf who tackles Elise to the ground, roaring with a mouth that literally comes out of nowhere. This freaked me out, dude. Oh my god. Marcy uses her demon soul-sucking powers to turn the wolf into a soulless husk, similar to the one seen in It Came from the Nightosphere. This whole thing terrifies Elise. It seems like she didn't know about her daughter's soul-sucking abilities. This moment leaves a permanent scar on Marceline. Seeing her mother stare at her like she was a monster damaged her self-image for most of her life. We head back to the Glass Kingdom where PB is running experiments to find a way to defeat Larvo. She draws his blood and subjects it to loud, violent music, which turns the blood into a mini Glassassin. She blasts it with some root beer, which seems to be a new power for her, by the way. The episode then flashes back to the first time PB and Marcy took on Larvo. Seeing these characters act like this proves just how far they've both come. Marceline has really grown out of her selfish phase, seeing how she's acting here, which is more in line with her character when we first meet her in the series. We also get to see an angle of Princess Bubblegum that we don't get to see too often. She's desperate to save the Glass Kingdom. She really wants to gain the respect and notoriety that she didn't really have up until this point by successfully defeating Larvo. In the middle of a fight, PB calls Marceline monster trash. This comparison is a soft spot for Marcy, so she responds with an edgy punk rock breakup song. We then jump back even farther back to Marcy and Elise. The two are in the dinosaur gas station from Marcy's map. Elise is trying her hardest to get a motorcycle to start to help their travels, but it's not going well. Marcy confronts Elise, asking her,
Mom? Am I a scary monster?
Elise is about to tell her something, most likely some reassurance that she loves Marcy, when she's overtaken by a coughing fit that results in coughing up blood.
Wow, that's no good!
Elise, now knowing her time to live is short, gives Marcy the key card to get into the shelter they've been headed towards. Marcy protests, saying she doesn't want to go without her mom, but Elise snaps at Marcy, saying,
I don't have time for you right now.
a line that Princess Bubblegum also used on Marceline right before their breakup.
I don't have time for you right now.
Man, PB hit too many soft spots in that fight. Anyways, Marcy leaves to go to the shelter, unaware that she'll never see her mom again. Although Elise meant no ill will, this moment will prove to be a formative one for Marceline. She feels abandoned by her mother, and she will for an incredibly long time, thinking that she didn't want her around anymore. I'm a little surprised that Marcy never went back to the gas station to check on her mom, but maybe that map isn't to scale and the area is much larger than it looks. It's also a possibility that Marcy knew her mom might have died and didn't want to go and confirm it. Kids aren't stupid, they pick up on things like that pretty easily. Marcy arrives at the shelter to see that it's been compromised. The door's cracked way open. We get yet another tragically funny moment here, where Marcy turns on the lights like it's a surprise party, sees all the skeletons, then turns the lights back off. Let me just play that for you. Whatever made its way into the shelter made quick work of these people, most of them looking like they had no idea what was coming until it was too late. We get to see young Marcy living in the bunker for a little while. She hasn't sealed the door, which is a little concerning, but I'm pretty sure she makes it out okay. She sings a song about the red light that won't stop blinking over her head. We get some shots of how she's made this space her own, complete with some drawings hung over old monitors, her little blanket for it, and even a get well card she made for a skeleton. It's just as adorable as it is morbid. She asks what her cardboard friends think of her song. One of them drops a huge question.
Why is her mom scared of you? Where is she?
Marcy using toys here to counsel herself is a pretty common thing for kids to do. Through them, she convinces herself that she scared her mother off on purpose.
When people get scared and run away, it's because I want them to.
She also mentioned scaring away her dad, which is peculiar because I figured that she hadn't met Hudson at this point. It's still possible that she hadn't yet and she's just basing this on her insecurities, but there's no way for us to be certain yet. Present time Marceline shows up to the bunker, and what proceeds might be one of the saddest moments in Adventure Time history. Since she can fly now, she can finally reach the red light, and she hits the play button on the machine. She finally gets the message from her mom that she was supposed to get all those years ago, indicated by the red light going off after the message was played. The fact that this message was here for Marceline all this time, and she just couldn't reach it, that broke my heart into a million billion pieces. She was supposed to get that message so long ago. Better late than never though, right? And then Glass Boy bursts in and ruins the moment. I understand why they had him follow Marceline and why he's annoying, cause it helped Marceline to see how ridiculous her edgy attitude was. However, it really shifted the mood for me in a way I didn't appreciate. It's one of the very few things that bothered me during the episode, but it's a pretty minor issue. After the two leave, they have a run-in with the Glassassins, who have already destroyed Marceline's motorcycle. They quickly steal Marcy's base and smash it into pieces, the first time we've seen it fully destroyed. Most people, including Marceline from the past, would have stopped to mess up anyone who broke their most prized possession. But Marcy realizes it's just a distraction. She flies away with Glass Boy in tow, completely ignoring the Glass Assassins for now. Meanwhile, PB and See-Through Princess enact their plan to encase Larvo in root beer, which crystallizes on contact with Larvo's skin, encasing him in a hard, sugary shell. Before we go on though, I have to talk about something. Take a good look at this. That is stretching. It has to be, right? Larvo's arms have been continually stretching out to try and break that barrier throughout the episode, and here his mouth stretches to an incredible size. Along with his eyes being a similar shape, it wouldn't be hard to convince me that Larvo is one of Warren Ampersand's offspring. Sure, it's very possible that other species can stretch that aren't Warren's children, but when we see stretching at Adventure Time, it's most often related to Jake, who got this power from Warren Ampersand. It doesn't seem like Larvo's the most intelligent being, so he can't really use his stretching in a conscious way, but he is almost definitely using it. If you have another idea, leave a comment, because that's all it reminds me of. Like, I literally saw it the first time. I saw that mouth get huge, and I was like, is he stretchy? And then I saw the eyes, I remember the eyes, I was like, oh my goodness. Warren, you a freak, dude. Anyways, back on track. This plan to encase him in crystal root beer backfires pretty hard, instead modding Larvo to have crystal claws and some crystal armor. Whoops! I got a good chuckle when PB referenced my favorite episode.
Egress! Egress!
And I laughed even harder at this.
A wave of acceptance has washed over me.
Larvo chases Glass Boy back into the furnace, with PB and Marcy right behind. Through the ignorant actions of the advisors, the heroes are trapped in the furnace with Larvo. The chamber collapses, trapping Larvo under the rubble, while PB and Marcy lament about their situation. PB admits to wanting Marcy's song to not work so she could be respected by the Glass people. This leads to a wonderful heart-to-heart, where Marceline finally opens up not just to PB, but to the audience as well.
My mom and I didn't talk about bad stuff. When she got really sick, she didn't even tell me.
After this, Marcy agrees to sing PB the song she's been working on, and my god is it sweet. Seriously, the team behind these songs did an incredible job. Through a small montage during this song, we get Larvo's backstory. He was some sort of mutant sea creature, and after a predator attack left him the sole survivor of his siblings, with a nasty scar to boot, he hid himself away. Instead of facing his trauma and reflecting on it, he locked himself away from the world, covering his scar with a seashell. He grew up over time, eventually becoming a lava dragon. Just like the song Marcy sings, Larvo was just a kid who had to teach himself how to live, just like PB and Marcy. His backstory comes and goes, but establishes a message about Larvo both quickly and effectively. Although I felt like it was a little shoehorned in here. We didn't really need a backstory for Larvo, especially with this song that was so centric to PB and Marceline's relationship, but I don't hate it. After that incredibly sweet song, we finally get what we've all been waiting for. A higher budget kiss! Let's go! Not to diss the one we got in Come Along With Me, cause it was great, but this kiss was so much better. It was perfect. PB starts to speak, but Larvo freaks out, eventually removing the seashell from his scar. The scar glows gold and his body turns into a discarded shell, with a cat butterfly thing emerging from it. It was an odd choice with an even more odd design, but it makes sense, I guess. Once you face your trauma, you can emerge into a happier being. Woo! It's a little too straightforward for me, but overall, I think it works okay. PB still wanted to kill it was really funny and totally in line with her character. Against the will of her advisors, See-Through Princess destroys the force field machine, causing an explosion that blows her back hard, as well as opens up the cave. The awkward new Larvo escapes immediately, the sight of him turning the Glass Assassins into little kitty butterflies. Aw, now those ones are cute. But this explosion came with consequences. STP's body is totally broken, her being almost in half now. Fighting through the negative comments from her advisors, she ties herself back together and gets up.
She got pants now.
This act of pride from STP gives way to all the other Glass people revealing that they have cracks too, and were just making fun of Glass Boy so they wouldn't be made fun of themselves. The whole thing is a strong metaphor for scars and trauma, burdens that people carry that you might not always see. Nobody wants to carry these feelings, nobody wants to be cracked. But the Glass Kingdom becomes a much kinder, more accepting place where everyone shows that they're a little damaged too. It's a wonderful metaphor to tie back into PB and Marcy's plot, and a strong and simple way for an all-ages cartoon to address trauma. I was actually thinking about making a full video talking about how this episode handled trauma, so leave a comment if you're interested in seeing that. The advisors, through their own fighting, reveal that they too have cracks, and way more than anyone else. Go figure. And instead of accepting themselves, they run away like little babies. Maybe one day they'll figure it out. Then Simon arrives with an entourage of heroes, something I both didn't expect and was not ready for. The Banana Guards slip out of the RV. Bronwyn, Jake's granddaughter, sprints over them. Good to see her again. And then, oh my god. When I tell you I screamed in the break room at work, I screamed. Finn! I was not expecting to see him again until Together Again, but there he is! And man, he got older. I wasn't sure how long after Come Along With Me this was supposed to take place, but after seeing Finn, I think a good guess would be about 10 years. And of course we have to address that tattoo. My first instinct tells me that Jake has since passed on, and this tattoo is a memorial to him. That feels almost too obvious, but it's possible that the crew wanted to be direct about it without actually having to say it. And even though the last episode is set to star Finn and Jake, Distant Lands has been jumping around the timeline all willy-nilly. So I wouldn't be surprised if the final episode takes place before this one, if Jake is actually dead here. Let's wrap this up before I start crackpot theory crafting. So after all this, the Glass Kingdom throws a party to celebrate, where Glass Boy sings the last song of the special. You don't get to hear all of it here, but I definitely recommend looking it up on Spotify, cause it's actually a really sweet song. Even if Glass Boy is a little shrill.
You know!
PB admits to always loving Marceline's songs, and we finally get to see how PB got Marcy's band shirt. She was at one of Marceline's concerts, and Marceline threw that sweaty thing right off stage into PB's face. And she loved it! And she loved it! I'm really glad Bonnie and Marceline finally got the story they deserved. One where they could be their full selves with one another, without too much censorship from a network. Watching these two come so far since What Was Missing is a great reflection of the media's views and acceptance on LGBTQ people throughout the years. The crew was hardly even allowed to talk about it at first, but now they're able to make an episode like this. I absolutely adored Obsidian, if you couldn't tell. This was a story we needed to see told, and I'm eternally grateful to the Distant Lands team for making it happen. Every piece of LGBTQ media is another step into a more accepting future, one that I'm really looking forward to. Now it's time to get this sappy sapphic stuff onto a daytime network. We're so close. Lumity, you're next to get your kiss. I can feel it. Anyways, what did you guys think of Obsidian? Did you love it? Like it? Hate it? Let me know in the comments below. Special thanks to Jagam for putting together this wonderful Twitter thread about Easter eggs in Obsidian. Go give him a follow. He's great. If you love cartoons as much as I do, subscribe to Cartoon Universe. Ring that bell to never miss an upload. And if you liked hearing me talk, consider subscribing to my channel, Crit Nick. Yo! I talk over there too. A lot. Some would say too much. Alright, thanks so much for watching, everybody. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!